Testing, 1, 2, can you hear me? Yeah. Can? Yeah. All right, here we go. All right, first of all, I got 3 hats. And these are pretty cool hats because they have the Texas flag on them. Yeah. You know Texans, right? We love Texas. All right, and I'm originally from Texas. I am a Texan. So that's another bonus you have. No, or I guess I have. Anyway, so who did not get into BYU their first try? Oh, that's too many. How about the second try? Everybody got in their second try at least? Okay, all right, here you go, buddy. All right. All right. How about, let's see, any born on June 30? Oh, June 30, we have 1. Here you go, come get your hat. How about August 4th? Oh, that's too many. What else? See? Let me see. How about went to Ecuador North Mission? No, North. I got 2. Oh no. Served in Otavalo. Oh, all right. Come get your hat. All right, so anyway, the first question was if you didn't get into BYU. I didn't get into BYU 3 times. All right, but you, and I never got in, that's right. I ended up going to UVU. It was very, I was a BYU fan from the get-go, right? I wanted to be there, but of course my academics in high school were not up to snuff, and I probably didn't try very hard at anything until, well, actually never, I guess. No, until I started my own business. That's not true. Okay, so a little bit about me. My wife and I live in San Antonio. We have 9 children. We had 6 and then decided to wait 7 years and have a few more after that. So, but we have 7 girls, 2 boys. So I'm a father of girls, basically. Anyway, the oldest is 20 and the youngest is 1. So anything else? I started my business when I was 23. I started basically right after graduating with an associate's degree from UVU, not even a bachelor's degree. School, as you can tell, just wasn't my thing. I served my mission in Guatemala City, South Mission, in 91 to 93, so pretty much way before anybody you were born. And what else? Anything else about me? My wife, my birthday's June 30. My wife, Courtney, did attend BYU, and we dated here. We actually met in California, where she's from, and we married after dating, what, 4 months, I think? So I was a pretty quick mover that way. Anyway, so this is my company, Texas Armoring Corporation. It is odd. It's a different kind of company. You'll really enjoy it, because, well, especially the guys, because if you like cars, guns, and women, no, I mean cars and guns, you'll love it. I mean, it's great. I get a test drive any car that comes through. We've done all kinds of fun cars. I mean, just a lot of fun. We also get to shoot a lot of fun weapons too. So I don't know if you've seen this video, but I don't know how to get to it quickly. Maybe Zach can help me. I'll show that video at the end, so you have to go all the way to the end of the thing. There's links. And hit that first one. Oh, you have to. Okay.
Control click.
Exit from the. If you exit from that, so pull up just the, without these things. What are they called? So pull up the, there you go. Boom. All right, here we go. So this video has over 13 million views on YouTube. So I am a YouTube star, right? Anything over, what, 1 million, I guess.
3 things you should know about Texas Armoring Corporation. First, we produce the world's lightest weight armored passenger vehicles. Second, we set the standard for luxury. Our vehicles provide the absolute finest finishing available on the market. And third, by using cutting-edge materials and manufacturing techniques, our products are simply stronger and safer than the competition. One more thing. My name is Trent Kimball, President and CEO of Texas Armoring Corporation. When it comes to assuring our clients' safety, we take product testing extremely seriously. Life is valuable. Protect it.
Back to the power. Sorry. All right, so let's see, clicker. Does that work? No. Just the center?
Nope, the right.
Yeah, that's what I did, I thought. Oh, I don't know how to use these things. No, okay, so that's, yeah, our family I already talked about. So that video you saw, we did that. We did an original with me just behind a windshield that got a few million views also. But then we decided that's not really our product. The windshield isn't our product. The whole vehicle is, even though we just shoot at the windshield, because that windshield actually costs about $7,000. So we don't want to just be shooting at windshields just for fun. But it is fun. Anyway, and then so we did that. It's just kind of a branding, marketing thing, just to get our name out there. We really don't get a whole lot of sales from it, because our clients, as you can tell, our clients are not the ones that are just going to the grocery store buying bread or eggs, or, I mean, our clients are very high net worth individuals that live usually outside of this country, that need protection against what we call KNR, kidnapping for ransom. That's usually who our client is. Anyway, so my family, there's us at Lake Powell this last summer. Company, I've been around, it'll be 20 years in 2017. So in 1997, I founded the company. How I got started. My dad actually had a company doing this exact same thing, but he was a partner, and he sold his when I was on my mission. So I didn't come up with this idea. He did not come up with this idea, but it is how we've been, I guess, how he made his living and how I'm making my living. He said, you got to start another one of these companies, because the one that I sold is going to go out of business because they don't know what they're doing. And because he was more the manager and his partner was the money guy, and they didn't know what they were doing, and they did go out of business a few years later. And then I started mine, kind of built off a mentorship from him. How I got my funding. This is something you guys all want to know, because 23 years old, 22 years old, whatever I was, 23 years old, I didn't know where I was going to get any money. My dad wasn't going to just start forking over the money for me. You can go family, you can go friends, you can go a lot of ways. I only had one resource. I had my dad's contacts, so I contacted one of them. They needed 3 cars right away. So the way we work in our business is we take a 50% upfront deposit, and then we build the car and then deliver it. They pay the balance. So with basically $30,000 per vehicle, 3 of them, $90,000, I was able to start Texas Armoring Corporation. And I started building those 3 cars, and then the whole idea is just sell and sell and sell before I deliver those 3 cars. So I had about 2 months, because it takes about 2 to 3 months to build a vehicle. I had about 2 months to get the sales rolling. My first year, I probably did 12 vehicles, 1 a month basically, and that's what we figured in the business plan. That could pay for me as an employee, and I could pay 2 or 3 or 4 other guys to help me build the vehicle. So that's how I got my funding. I didn't have venture capitalists banging on my door. I didn't have people offering me startup money or anything. That's just how I got started. Basically bootstrapped the company from the beginning. Let's see. I did have the opportunity to hire a lot of key employees, a few key employees from my dad's old company. So they were able to help me build the vehicles, basically. Key employees, all I needed was the know-how on how to build them. I knew where to buy materials. I knew basically the ins and outs of the business. I just didn't know exactly how to build the vehicles, and that's what I needed those guys for. So currently, I think there's still about 3 or 4 out of 50 employees that worked with my dad. And so it's a lot of experience there helping us out. Let's see. Why be an entrepreneur? So basically at 12 years old, I had my own lawn business. I would hire my friends to mow lawns with me, and I'd pay them hourly. So I wouldn't split it with them like a nice guy would do, right? So I paid them hourly. So I'd collect $50, or it wasn't $50 back then. It was like $25. $25 a lawn, and I'd pay them $5 for the hour that it'd take us to do it. And so we'd knock out about 10, 12 lawns a week, and then a week, it would be more like 2 days of work, even 1 day sometimes, and then we'd have money for the rest of the time. So I did that through high school, mowing lawns. Those business principles that I established with mowing lawns is the same ones I used starting my business. It was something I always wanted to do. I knew I never wanted to work for anybody. I worked for Chuckarama here when I was going to UVU. That's fun. I hated it. My wife and I worked there, and we worked just long enough to pay our rent and maybe a few dollars for gas and some other stuff, and then we'd stop working for the rest of the month. Oh, it was just not fun. Anyway, education, it's very important. I just wasn't good at it. I was not very good at going to school. So I recommend you finish school. I would not have it any other way. I want my kids to finish school. But if there's an idea knocking on your door and that's the time, you pray about it. That's what we did, and make sure that it's the right decision for you and your family. We felt good about starting our business without finishing school. Otherwise, we wouldn't have done it. Let's see. You know this. It's the Lord's way, not your way, and it's the Lord's time, not your time. So you have to rely on Him. Entrepreneurship is really, it takes a lot of faith in yourself, in your family, in your wife, in your spouse. It takes a lot of faith in God and the right attitude. There's a lot of people fail at being an entrepreneur. Families fail at being entrepreneurs. It's a lot of stress. It's not always It's not always at the top. You're not always at the top. You're climbing constantly, and sometimes you're on a slide down. It's a struggle, but if you're willing to put forth the work and you have the right attitude. Some people ask me, how do I get the attitude that you have? I said, that's a good question. I don't know, but you have to have that attitude that you're going to succeed no matter what, and that attitude is what gets you beyond the trials of whatever's thrown at you. Whether it's lawsuits or it's, and I'm naming things that I went through, whether it's lawsuits, it's debt, it's, what else? Yeah, making payroll each week. Sometimes not paying yourself 1 week. Those are some struggles that you may have as an entrepreneur. We talked about my mentor was my father. He was a successful entrepreneur in my eyes, and he helped me out. Later, I've used founders, my co-founders here at the center. I recommend that if you have you come to the center and they will find you a founder that will help you. There's a lot of knowledge out here as far as founders, and I use them quite a bit. I already talked about seed capital. What else? So why an armored vehicle? Our clients, I mentioned, most of them are extremely wealthy. They have to be. The cost of one of these, which was a question I usually get, is it can start out about $50,000, and that's not including the price of the car, all the way up to $250,000, depends on what kind of armor they want to put on it. The average is about $85,000. That'll stop AK-47, M16, AR-15, 308, what else? No RPG, no 50 cal at that price. We can do it, but not at that price. Anyway, but that's the most common. Some of the most common cars we do, that's a Rolls. We've probably only done about 3 of those. Escalade, sheesh, probably about 500 of them. I don't know, it's a lot of them. Land Cruiser is another most common car. Usually we tell clients you want to pick something that's nondescript, that can keep you in a low profile situation. These cars are going anywhere from West Africa to Asia to the Middle East to South and Central America to, not Provo, to places like, we've sent one to Billings, Montana, believe it or not, Dallas, California. If you keep it here, I'll tell you 2 rappers you may know, I don't, or I didn't, now I do. T.I. and, dang it. No, don't guess, there's too many of them. I'll remember it here in a minute. Jeez. No, it's some other guy that's he's dating one of the, who is he dating? No. All right, never mind. I drew a blank. I'll remember it in here. No, I don't remember now. All right, anyway, Steven Seagal, if you know him, he needed one for some reason. I guess he was mob connected. I don't know. A lot of billionaires. So, what's his name? Sheldon Adelson. I have a hard time with names, obviously, you can tell. Sheldon Adelson, Ellison, what's the guy's Ellison? Larry Ellison. You have a question already? I'm not there yet. Athletes, yes. Lefty, the golfer, Phil Mickelson. I don't know why he needs it. So some of these guys may need it, and some of them may just want it. Because, I mean, how many of you guys want an armored car, right? See, I see a few of them, yeah. It'd be cool to have. Yeah, no, it's okay. What other athletes? Tracy McGrady, for some reason. I can't think of anybody else. Anyway, so we do have a few U.S. clients that are not famous also. So that's who our clients are, and they need an armored vehicle. So 80 to 90% of TACs, and I don't know where these figures came from. They've been used for a long time. So someone put it in there, and I just use it. So 89% of the terrorist attacks occur while the victims of the vehicle. So that's it's true. I mean, a lot of your most vulnerable thing. Yeah, man. I can't do it without you interjecting. You're most vulnerable when you're traveling in your vehicle to and from a location. And any security guy will tell you that you want to change your route up and things like that. Anyway, the global financial crisis in 2008 helped our business where everybody else was struggling. It helped us. 9/11 helped us. Not necessarily in the U.S., but in the world. Terrorists, any type of crisis in the world is going to help us. So we have a business that's growing. We produce about 75 to 100 vehicles a year. We're currently in talks to get another manufacturing facility built in Honduras. That should start up in January. And in the most unsafe city in the world is San Pedro Sula. So that's where we're going. Fun. I go to the fun places like that. I go to places that are not safe. Haiti, Saudi, Kurdistan, Bosnia. I've been to all those places that are hotbeds because that's where our vehicles are needed. So we also do some of these bigger vans and buses and not very many of these bank trucks, but we can. We specialize in personal passenger vehicles. Brands, we've done probably every brand up there except for a Mazda. No, did we do a Mazda? Not, oh yeah, Susie, we did like some Troopers or whatever. Yeah, we've done a lot of these. So those are the levels. This is just a little bit of training on what we stop. Usually in the U.S., they're getting the T4, which is a handgun protection. The glass is about six or half an inch thick to 3/4 of an inch thick, and the material we use is called Spectra Shield. It's a newer Kevlar. You've heard of Kevlar. Everybody here they've all heard of Kevlar, but Spectra is another type of fiber that's used to stop. It's really lightweight. It weighs 1 pound per square foot, so we can make these vehicles added weight to the vehicle on the lowest level would be about 500 pounds, which is like a big, heavy person. Or two big, heavy people, I don't know. So you have a T6 is it's our most common level. That's what everybody wants to stop. If you speak Spanish, you've heard of Cuerno de Chivo, maybe. Cuerno de Chivo is the AK-47 because it has a horn like a chivo. What's a chivo? Thank you. A goat. Thanks for having my back. I just know what it is. It has a horn like a goat, so they call it the Cuerno de Chivo. So, and I'm saying it like a gringo for your benefit. Armor piercing level, we can do that too. And then multi-shot. Anyway, so the president of the U.S., just to give you an idea, this glass is about 3 inches thick. The president of the U.S. has his vehicle, it's about 6 to 8 inches thick glass. I don't know what he wants to stop. Something very, very big. So our marketing strategy, so because of our industry, our market, who we're targeting, it's kind of difficult. We're not going to run ads on the TV or on the radio, or we're not going to do that kind of stuff. So some of the things that we did at the beginning was free PR. I would send out basically press releases to the media, and because of the type of business that I had, they would eat that stuff up. So they would call me, and I'd be on, like Steve said, we were on CNN, we've been on Fox News, we've been on CBS News, we've been on almost everybody except for the Today Show. My wife says, you gotta be on the Today Show to be famous. And I said, I'm not gonna do that. But anyway, Today Show does not want us on there for some reason. But I was on Fox News in the morning or whatever, and then CBS News and some others. Anyway, and we even had our own, we had a 1-episode reality show. TLC decided to go a different way. We were not midgets, we were not polygamists, and we weren't 600-pound people. So they said, no, you're Mormons building armored cars, we don't want any of you. But that was a while ago. We had 1 episode called Family Armor. That was fun. They did about 500 hours, and for 1 episode, 500 hours of filming is a lot. Anyway, but what that does is it helps our marketing brand. It helps our brand. Our clients, the way they come to us is, I'll say, he'll be wealthy, millionaire or billionaire in Nigeria, and he'll have a cousin, uncle, lawyer, accountant, somebody that he knows in the U.S., and hopefully that guy saw something about us, because his buddy or his family member will say, hey, I need to buy an armored vehicle. Do you know anything about them? Yes, I saw this on Discovery Channel, and they're in Texas, and so he starts Googling Texas armory, or Texas bulletproof vehicles or whatever, and we're up there. So that's how we get our business. So what we want to do is build a brand here in the U.S. That way, their contact here in the U.S., if they have one, is going to know about us. Let's see, what else? Brand elements, web marketing. I show you a viral video. We've had several of those that increase traffic to our site, of course. Keep things real, fresh, whatever. My kids have offered to be in the video, and they want to be in the car, and I said no, because they'll take you away from me, and I have to explain it to them. But they said, what about sitting a cat in there? I said, yes, that sounds better. But so we can do all kinds of stuff on that, keeping our online presence really, out there. It's what we want to do. Social media, we have it all too. Feel free to follow us or me or whatever. I'm boring. The company's more has probably stuff you guys want, content-wise. Anyway, and targeted direct mail. There's ways that you can send mail to your exact demographic now. We don't do much of that because we have to pay for it, and I'm cheap. I don't want to pay for anything. So we try to do a lot of free advertising. We establish other ways to get our market out there. I've set up one of the first things I did as one of the first things my dad recommended. So he's my mentor. He recommended that we offer $5,000 to anybody that referred a client to us, and we sold the car. So it's like a commission or a referral fee or whatever you want to call it. So if their cousin here in the U.S. referred, Joe Blow to buy a vehicle, then his cousin would get $5,000, or he could take it as a discount for his cousin, which they don't ever do. They always take the money. They don't ever get it a discount to even their father. Can you believe that sometimes? Or their brother? Whatever. But that's just, they want the money. So they $5,000, and I'll offer that to you guys. If you guys know anybody that needs an armored vehicle and you refer them to us, you get $5,000. So I did that one time, one of the first times in this class, and the guy set up a website, and he did all kinds of stuff and started referring people to me. In about a year, he had referred 3 guys to me. $15,000 in 1 year as a college student, not bad. So I later, after he finished school, he said, you want to buy the website? I said, yeah, but I'd rather hire you, and I hired him. And he came to work for me, and just recently we separated ways. But anyway, it was great. It was a great opportunity, great thing. So I'll offer it to you guys, anybody that wants to sell armored vehicles. It's not fun. It's not like selling anything. It's very hard. You have to know people. And even when you know people, they have to trust you. So anyway. So email, we do a newsletter. You can sign up for our newsletter if you want. But we do a newsletter. We try not to do it very often. Our clients do not want to be bothered with spam, so we do it probably every quarter, once a quarter, and that's enough just to give them an idea what's new and what's fresh. We don't offer any used vehicles or new vehicles. Everything is purchased to order. Sometimes we'll have a client that wants to sell a vehicle, and we'll sell his vehicle for him, and that's something we can do. So that brings in other types of business. If the guy's looking for something immediately available, sometimes he'll buy a previous client's car and then use it and then buy one from us later. Third-party networks, we link ourselves with limo companies, with freight forwarders, people that are doing business with the wealthy foreigners. So we try to link ourselves with those groups. And the way we do that is sometimes we'll refer, if the guy wants a limo stretch, we'll refer him to them, and then they'll refer somebody to us. And that's what we play the game. So we would try to do it. Oh, that's more industry networking, right? Third party is something else, I guess. Like I said, I didn't write this slide. No, I've been using it a while, but it's good. All right, so here's some of the traditional media we've been in. I'm trying to go through this rather quickly because I know there's probably some questions and comments that people have, and I want to give you enough time to do those. So when I first started my business, Mexico was our largest market. That was in 1997. So the markets change. We've gone from Mexico to Philippines to West Africa, now to the Middle East, with some other countries in between there, like Greece and Cambodia and some other countries that are just always kind of hot. But anyway, that's a little bit about that. So what our viral marketing does, that was the first video. I didn't show you that one because I like the second one, but this is the first video we did. It got 5 million hits, despite the fact that some YouTube thought it was copyright infringement. They took it off for like 24 hours, so they really killed it, but we still got quite a bit of marketing from it. We had to fight them on it. Anyway, I don't know why I'm telling you all that, but that's what happens. And then we pick up, so from these YouTube things, like CNN saw this, and we pick up other things, so it kind of gets into a way. So have you heard of Blendtec? Yeah. Why have you heard of Blendtec? Yeah, YouTube, right? I don't think, I mean, I didn't hear of them before the YouTube, and then I went and bought a blender. But yeah, so that's what, even with a blender, they were able to come up with a cool thing. So mine is a little bit more sexy, I guess, than a blender. But still, I'm saying, like, even if you're selling umbrellas, figure out a way to get your brand out there. There's ways to do it. Anyway, Reddit, I guess that's pretty popular. I didn't know about it until we got on there. But don't ever read the comments. Anyway, so some of the videos, and these are some of the new segments. All of these are on our website if you want to click through them. There's some cool ones. One that's, oh, I can't do that. I guess it doesn't matter. We'll just do Q&A now, I guess, unless I probably went so fast that I skipped a bunch of stuff. But if you have any, like, starting your business, I'll answer any question. So go ahead. In movies, so movies are fake, and mine are real. So no. The reason why is because so we do consult on them, but they don't want the real thing because, I don't know, so you probably haven't seen this movie because it's, again, my generation, Clear and Present Danger. So they're in the alley, and they're getting RPGs thrown at them, and the windows are down on the way in. The windows are not going to be down on these vehicles, especially all the way down. We can do a halfway down, but on an armored vehicle, anytime they say on armored vehicle, I just saw this the other day on some episode of, I don't even know. See, I'm horrible with names. But some episode, they said the president's getting in the armored vehicle, and I look over, and the window's down. The window is not going to be down on the president's vehicle ever. So anyway, movies are fake. Ours are real. So good question, though. I don't mean to make, anyway. No. The closest, that's not a fun, that's not.
Could you repeat the question?
Have we ever armored a smart car? No. We've armored something pretty close. I think it was a Mitsubishi Eclipse. I mean, that's the smallest vehicle, and I don't know why we did it. Go ahead. I'll get to over here. Right. So that's a good question. So he asked what I did for referrals at the beginning of starting the business. The fax machine was my friend. I would fax, before internet, keep that in mind, I would fax freight forwarders, car dealers, and remember Mexico was my primary market, so I was targeting Mexico. And so I would fax the referral fee to all these people down at the dealerships, at the at the freight forwarders, at anything I could think where the connection would be, where they would know a wealthy person. And then I'd start picking up brokers or representatives from Mexico that would actually do some of that legwork for me because they wanted the $5,000. So I had a kind of a network of free representatives doing some of the legwork for me, even though they weren't all successful. Some of them were, but it's, like I said, it's very hard to sell a vehicle. So that's how I did the first year. Good question. I did not cover that. It's a very good question. I don't sell to drug dealers. Everybody thinks I do. I don't sell to criminals. The reason why is because our product is it's a State Department licensed product. We have to apply for a license for our end user before the vehicle leaves. So yes, there are qualifications. They have to go through a rigorous background check, not by us, by the State Department, to see if they could own that vehicle. And we've never had anybody fail. We had one person fail. I'm just remembering, sorry. But we turned him in because we did our background check on him. We did our due diligence and found that he wasn't a friendly guy. And the second one, probably, I just got the contact today. That guy does not look good. So I'm just telling my employees to tell him we don't want to take his project. So we're not even going to build it this time. Anyway, so yeah, no, we don't sell to criminals. So they're all legitimate businessmen. Well, some of them are, they're businessmen that maybe have lower morals, but yes, they are businessmen. Because our morals are pretty high, right? Right? Yes. Go ahead, up there. Good question. Yeah, so basically I did. I had a 10,000 square foot little building, and I had employees that knew what they were doing because they worked for my dad. And so they would go in and we'd strip the vehicle completely out. I didn't explain that process, but we stripped the vehicle completely. It's a brand new vehicle. They get a Rolls Royce in there, and we gut the thing down to the frame. We put our armor on the inside. It's 100% coverage, not just doors. So pillar posts, floor, roof, windows, dash, firewall, or whatever you want to call it. Everything, 100%. And then we build it back together. And that's where that's the hardest part. Putting it back together, making, if they find something extra, they don't throw it over their shoulder. They actually have to find where it goes. So, yeah, that's basically what we did. And we did that with 2 or 3 vehicles at the beginning. And it just slowly grew and grew. Once in a while, I had no vehicles in my shop, and I'd have a client come in. I'd have to grab a neighbor's car that was new, a brand new Suburban, and pull it in and pretend we were working on it, because you can't be having an empty shop trying to sell it to the guy. So I guess that's a principle that you learn sometimes here in business school. I didn't learn that in business school because I didn't go to business school, but you learn, it's called, what they call that? The blowfish? The blowfish principle. Make yourself appear bigger than you are, right? And they'd call in, I'd answer the phone, they'd ask for, me, and I said, just a minute, I'll get him. And then, or I have to ask the boss, just a minute, and I'm doing everything. I was taking out the trash, I was answering phones, I was the guy in the front, Sometimes you have to do that. That's what you're starting out. I couldn't rent a car until I was 24 years old, right? 25? No, 24, I think they do. Whatever. Anyway, you couldn't rent a car. Sometimes you have to rent a car. Anyway, so that's just an odd thing. Who's next? I think you had a question. Oh, driverless cars coming out. I haven't thought about it. How is it going to change my industry? Most of our guys sit in the back seat anyway. They have drivers. So I don't know. I don't know how that would change. I'll tell you, hybrids, we don't do many of the hybrids. We can, but we upcharge it just because dealing with the battery issue is a little bit trickier. When you're disconnecting that battery and then having to reconnect it, you don't want to ruin it. So it's a little trickier, but I don't know how driverless cars are going to affect us. I don't know if it will it? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Good question. Okay, last question. Yep, you. Good. Nope, good question. Yes, we put run flat tires into the tires. That's a military spec. It looks like a hardened plastic ring or donut that tightens down to the rim, goes into the tire. It's got about 2-3 inches between the tire and it. And if the tire deflates, you drop down on it and keep rolling. So, and options real quick, we offer some James Bond type options like a smoke screen, oil slick, what else? Oh, TAC dispensing system, shocking door handles. But those are all like options that were invented for that client. Say he saw something like a license plate that switched, you know. He said it was legitimate, I don't know, but. All right. Thank you guys for letting me come.